right, sixth graders. Today we are going to be talking about apostrophes in grammar. Remember last week we talked about commas. We talked about all the different rules for commas, how we use commas to set off direct quotations, to separate words or phrases in a series, to separate adjectives sometimes if we're describing the same noun, and also to set off appositives and nouns of direct address. We talked about using commas in letters. So we learned all about commas. So we now know all of our rules for commas. Today we're going to talk about apostrophes. We have already talked about how we use apostrophes in our possessive forms of words. So we use apostrophes to show possession. I honestly do not remember if we have talked about this recently or if that was my fourth graders. So I'm just going to go over it with you again. That way it will be fresh in your mind, okay? All right, so we use apostrophes for possessive forms. Remember, the possessive case of most singular nouns is formed by adding an apostrophe S, okay? So, singular possessive, I am talking about one woman, and I'm talking about her food. My lamp just went out. Sorry it got dark. We're gonna keep going. So I would just use my singular noun and I would use an apostrophe S, okay? All right. Now, plural of woman, this is one of those irregular nouns that it completely changes. Plural of woman would be women. Okay, now, if I was talking about the coats of all the women, so the women's coats, for this particular noun, I would also add an apostrophe S. Now the rule changes if my plural noun ends with an S. That's when my apostrophe comes afterwards. So we're going to look at one of those now. So my singular noun is baby. If I'm talking about one baby and that baby's bottle, I would say the baby's bottle. Baby apostrophe S. Okay? Plural of baby. Remember, my Y changes to an I and I add an ES. Okay? So now I'm talking about the bottles of all the babies. So there's more than one baby. My plural noun ends with an S, so my plural possessive noun, my apostrophe is going to come after the S. Okay, is this sounding a little bit familiar? I know we've talked about it in sixth grade. I just, at this moment, can't remember when. But I know that we have gone over this, knowing that our plural possessive, if it ends with an S, the apostrophe goes after. If it does not end with an S, then we do the same thing as our singular possessive and we add apostrophe S, okay? All right, so we have the word waitress, okay? If I am talking about the waitress's table, that's one waitress, her table, then I'm going to add, I'm sorry, I'm having to do my video a little bit different today, and it's kind of hard. Apostrophe S, okay? So waitresses, one waitress, her table. Plural of waitress is waitresses. See if I have enough room. So I'm going to add an ES to the end, okay? It's really hard to read that, I'm sorry. Waitresses, once again, my plural noun ends with an S. So where is my apostrophe going to go? It's going to come after the S. So the waitresses' tables. So I'm talking about many waitresses and their tables. Okay. All right. The next one I have up there is the word child. Okay. If I'm talking about the child's toy, it's one toy, it belongs to the child, to one child, then I'm going to say apostrophe S. This is another one of those irregular nouns where my whole word changes. Plural of child is children. Okay, this does not end with an S, so my plural possessive form can be apostrophe S, so children's. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is our first rule for apostrophes, that apostrophes can be used to make possessive forms like we have looked at. And we know that if the plural possessive form ends, or the plural form ends with an S, then our apostrophe goes after. If it ends with any other letter, then we put apostrophe S. Let's see. Apostrophes are also used to make possessive forms of indefinite pronouns that end with one or body. They are not used to make possessive forms of personal pronouns. And my light came back on. That's crazy. So if we have an indefinite pronoun, a pronoun that's talking about not one particular person, so it's kind of a generic, talking about many ones or bodies, we make that to make it possessive, we add apostrophe S. Now if we have just normal regular pronouns, personal pronouns, talking about a specific person, hers, ours, theirs, then we do not add apostrophe S. But if you have a pronoun that ends with one or body, so you've got words like someone, nobody, everyone's, anybody's, all of those we are going to use apostrophe S, okay? All right, so those are just some ways that we can use apostrophes, okay? All right, now we are going to look at how we can use apostrophes in contractions, okay? I am on page 378 in your grammar book, okay? Right now I'm on page 378 in your grammar book. If you want to turn there, you're welcome to look along, or you can just watch the board while we get through this, and then I'll tell you what your work for today will be. Okay, so we've talked about how apostrophes can be used in possessive forms, how when we are doing a possessive form of an indefinite pronoun that ends in one or body, it's apostrophe S. If we have just a personal pronoun, we do not use apostrophes, okay? All right, now we're gonna look at how we use apostrophes in contractions, okay? A contraction is just two words that we have put together to form a new word, okay? An apostrophe shows where one or more letters have been omitted or left out, okay? So, something to remember. Let's work it completely out, Okay, so the first word I have up here is can't. Can't, what two words make up can't? Can and not. Okay, so can't is made up of the two words can, not. Now, my apostrophe goes where the letters that I have taken out, the apostrophe replaces them, okay? So what letters have I taken out? Well, I've taken out the N and the O of not. So my apostrophe goes in that place. Can't. You see it? Okay, let's look at another one. Don't. What two words does don't consist of? Do not. Okay? All right. So I have do not. What letter have I left out? I left out the O, right? The O and not. So my apostrophe goes in that place. My apostrophe goes in place of the word or the letter that I have left out. Okay, so don't, we put those together. There's no O there, so I put my apostrophe, and there's my T. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Okay, the next one we have is we're, like we're going to the store. What two words make up we're? We are, right? Okay. What letter did I leave out? The A. Okay, so my apostrophe goes in the place of the A. Okay, all right, now I have the word they've. They've gone to the store. I really want to go to the store, guys. I just want to go to the store. What two words make up the word they've? They have. Okay? All right. What letters have I omitted or left out? The H and the A for have. So my apostrophe goes in place of it. Okay? So if you look on page 378 at the very bottom, they've given you all kinds of examples. I only went over those 4, but by doing those 4, you should be able to see that when we use an apostrophe in a contraction, our apostrophe goes in place of the letters that have been left out, okay? Contractions must not be confused with possessive pronouns. Okay, so we said contractions must not be confused with possessive pronouns. Okay, so I've got a few written on the board. I'm going to go down just a little bit. Okay, so I have the word your. This is a contraction. My apostrophe is in the place of an A because this means you are. Okay, you are. Not to be confused with your, the possessive pronoun that means belonging to you, like your book. Okay, a lot of people, even adults, will get words like these mixed up and they'll use them at the wrong time. So you need to be very careful in your writing or typing or emailing or posting that you are using the correct word when you're supposed to. Okay, so this word means you are. This means your, like it belongs to you. So I wouldn't say your book, you are book. That wouldn't make sense, right? No. And I wouldn't say You're going to the store, because this your means that it belongs to you. It doesn't fit that sentence. Okay, so be very careful when you're writing. Here's another one. There. They are. Not to be confused with this there, which means belonging to them. Okay? Like their car. I wouldn't say their car. They are car. That wouldn't make sense. Okay? All right. Let's look at another one. It's. My apostrophe is in place of an I. This word means it is. Not to be confused with its, meaning belonging to it. Like it's food. I wouldn't say it is food. Maybe I would. But depending on the context of your sentence. Okay? Whose. Who is. Not to be confused with whose. Whose meaning belonging to whom. So whose book is this? I wouldn't say who is book is this. That would not make sense. So be very careful that you're not confusing contractions with possessive pronouns. Okay? All right. For your work right now, I'm going to take this real quick and erase it. Sorry, I did not do my videos earlier today, and now the kitchen table is taken up by my kids who are working on math. Okay, so your grammar work for today is going to be on page 380. Okay, page 380, you're going to do written exercise B. B. So B wants you to rewrite the phrases using possessive forms. So a track of a bear would be a bear's track. Okay. Another example. Let's see if there's another one I can do without doing the second one. There's not. The milk of several goats. The goat's milk. Okay, but you've got to decide, where does my apostrophe go? Am I talking about one bear? So is it apostrophe S? Am I talking about many goats? So does my apostrophe go before or after the S? Okay, so just remember those rules that we went over earlier in the video. So you're going to do written exercise B. You are also going to do written exercise C. Written exercise C is you are just writing contractions for different words. So they've given you two words. Number one is I am. You're going to write the contraction for I am. I'm. You've got to decide, where does my apostrophe go? Remember, when you're doing a contraction, your apostrophe goes in place of the letter that you take out. Okay, so written exercise B and C, and then I also want you to do the review exercise B, and that's going to be on page 381. Okay, and the review exercise is just copying the sentence using correct capitalization and punctuation. So that's a review of things that we've done the last couple of weeks, because we are coming up to the end of this chapter, so we will have our chapter test assessment over that pretty soon. Okay, so this is your grammar homework for today, page 380, written exercise B and C, and then review exercise part B, page 381. Okay? Okay, I told you yesterday that you would be choosing a science experiment to do. So I told you to research that, look on Pinterest, talk to your parents, figure out what science experiment you want to do. Now for this assignment, remember it's a grade for science. It's also a grade for writing. The science part of the grade is the experiment itself. I want you to video you doing this experiment. If it's like an immediate reaction experiment, like I don't know, like you drop the Mentos in the Coke and it like shoots Coke up. If it's immediate like that, then you're going to video you doing that. If it is an experiment, sorry guys, it's late, an experiment that takes time, then you are going to need to kind of video or take pictures all along the way, and then we'll compile them into one video. So the end goal is to have a video at the end that we can show to everyone and kind of have our own little science fair online, okay? So choose your science experiment and do it. That's your science grade. For writing, you are going to be writing me a how-to paper. I told you yesterday that you are welcome to do just like an essay. This is what I did first, next, walk me through every step, okay? That's completely fine. Some of you need things a little more laid out, and if so, that's totally fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and lay it out for you. Now, remember, this isn't how you have to do it. You are welcome to do essay form, but if you're going to do paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4, then maybe this will help you, okay? Paragraph 1, start with, how did you decide on your experiment? What are the materials that you need to get started, okay? Did you find your experiment on Pinterest? Did you look through a bunch of websites to decide on one? What are the materials that you needed? Were they all things that you had at home? Did you have to order something? Did you have to go out and get anything? Really don't want you to have to do that because we're supposed to be staying at home. But paragraph 1, that's what it's going to be about, okay? So this is kind of your outline. Paragraph 2, the steps that you take to complete your experiment. So in paragraph 1, we got our materials. Now what do? First, I did this. Next, this happened. Then I did this, okay? So paragraph 2 are going to be the first steps that you take to complete your experiment. Paragraph 3 is going to be your finally. This is your end of your experiment, the reaction. What happened? Was it a balloon blowing up? Was it, you know, I don't know what experiment you're choosing, but it's going to be cool. I know it. So paragraph 3 is going to be your end of your experiment. The reaction, what happened? Your last paragraph, paragraph 4, was it a success? Did it work? Did it work like the internet said it was going to work? Was it hard? Was it easy? Could anyone do this? Okay, so you're going to kind of rate this experiment. So you need to pause the video here and write down this outline. This is a way for you to something for you to follow. But like I said, you don't have to follow this. You have some 6th grade freedom here to write your essay, how-to paper, how you want to. But if you need it a little more laid out, then here is an outline that you can follow, okay? So paragraph 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remember, you're gonna have 2 weeks to do this. I said it was gonna be due next Thursday yesterday, but I actually think I'm gonna make it due the next Tuesday. And I don't know the date right now, but as soon as I do, I will text it to your parents, okay? But you've got 2 weeks from yesterday to complete this assignment, so you have plenty of time, okay? All right. Now also, you need to be doing your daily warm-ups for your history. You need to finish Nori Ryan's song and answer the questions that I gave you for that. That should be it for this week, other than grammar that we will work on again tomorrow. Okay? All right, y'all have a great day.